by chance you can hear me over the background music, we are here at the MSI booth at PAX Australia. They are moments away from taking the wraps off something kind of special that I've been waiting to get my hands on and ready to play with. Saw it first at E3 earlier this year, but now there's officially launching, finalized form, a backpack for playing VR with.
Hello again, I am Blunty, and what you're watching here is the official launch of the MSI VR1 backpack at PAX Australia. Several of the big companies who make gaming laptops and such have shown off concept VR backpack designs using all their clever gaming laptop know-how, but MSI are the first to put their money where their mouth is and actually release a product onto the consumer market. And you can get one of these MSI VR1 backpacks right now. Well, you can order one of these right now. Shipping is due to start later this month. Now, it's easy to assume, in fact most people do, that a VR backpack is little more than a gaming laptop with the screen torn off and some shoulder straps glued on. And in a way, sure, that's fair, but in reality, the MSI VR1 has been a ground-up design challenge. MSI have done careful work not only on how it fits on your back and how it balances, but also rather vital things like not having it sit directly against your back, so in particularly active VR sessions, your back isn't pressed up against the hot body of an operating high-end computer, and you've got a little airflow against your back so sweat can evaporate. They've placed the vents on the sides, carefully positioned so the hot exhaust air from the coolers isn't blowing onto you, and using their cooler design know-how, which I was very impressed with on my recent laptop reviews I've done of MSI gear, they say under full gaming load, the system noise will be less than 40 dBA, which on paper is pretty quiet. In real-world use, well, on a show floor, it was simply impossible for me to say. MSI have also had a rather vital thought when it comes to power, providing hot swappable batteries so you're not suddenly forced to stop playing or forced to tether yourself to a power cable to keep playing. Changing the battery does mean plugging in the power to keep things humming while you swap out the quick change battery pack, so it's still not the most elegant solution in the world, but it is certainly nicely practical and fast. Other things MSI have done to make tetherless VR more practical is the placement and arrangement of the cable ports. They even include a shortened 90cm cable bundle to replace the long ones the HTC Vive comes with, so you don't have the extra weight or clumsiness of having to bundle up and tie down those long cable loops up. But back on the subject of power, one of the first questions anybody asks is, how long does it go for? Well, a single battery charge will get you up to 90 minutes of VR gaming time. And while that doesn't sound like a lot in the context of the hours and hours long sessions many of us plug into games in single sittings, this is, remember, 90 minutes in VR, standing up, moving around, swinging your arms around. 90 minutes playing a VR game is longer than you think it is. Plus, of course, the hot swappable battery with its external battery charging dock will keep you going past that. Contributing to that 90-minute battery life is the fact that MSI haven't cut corners when it comes to performance. Inside here is an Intel Core i7-6820HK, the same top-end high-performance CPU that is in the monster MSI GT73 VR Titan 17-inch gaming laptop that I recently reviewed and was very impressed by the way. There's 16GB of RAM, a 256GB SSD, and driving these games is an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1060 with 6GB of GDDR5, a combination which brings us comfortably above the recommended specs for VR on a premium experience HMD like the HTC Vive. There's also a higher performance model available, almost identical except for a larger 512GB SSD and a GeForce GTX 1070 with 8GB of GDDR5. Both units weigh in at about 3.6 kilograms, or 7.9 pounds if you live somewhere so arse backward you haven't adopted the metric system yet. To give that some perspective though, it's a little lighter than that MSI GT73 VR 17-inch gaming laptop I just mentioned, which, while it is not what I'd call light, it isn't what I'd call heavy either. And that kind of weight, supported properly with the backpack-style rigging and kept close to the body to keep the center of gravity in, shouldn't pose a comfort issue. Though again, without having actually worn it for an extended full-on gaming session myself, that's intuition talking. Certainly the normal backpack I myself was wearing all day, every day at the PAX Australia event was larger, and indeed, with my camera gear in it, heavier. And I coped with that just fine, even with my bunged up back. And it's worth pointing out, you can of course have the MSI VR1 live, although not quite as elegantly, as your desktop gaming PC too. Now, MSI haven't made a special stand or caddy for it, or wall mount or something cool like that, at least not yet. I think I might suggest it to them though. But of course it does do everything a normal gaming PC can do once you hook up a screen and keyboard and mouse to it. Now, the launch prices in Yankee Doodle Trump bucks sit at just under $2,000, and for $300 more you can have the more powerful flavour. While for Aussies like me, PLE computers only seem to be listing the higher end model right now at 3,599 Aussie beer purchasing units, which is, by the way, a price that puts it predictably just under the similarly spec'd gaming laptops. So the good news is you don't seem to be paying a premium here for the novelty and uniqueness of it being a VR backpack. Now, I don't expect MSI, or anyone for that matter, will be selling millions of these pretty niche products. Certainly not tons to normal home users, I don't think. Especially considering to use it to its full potential, you do still of course need the investment in a room scale capable VR kit. But hardcore VR enthusiasts are going to be very excited by the freedom of movement and concern about getting their feet tangled in the trailing cables untethered VR like this presents. And of course already there are several businesses setting up VR gaming arenas and the like who are already using cobbled together jerry-rigged laptop-based VR backpack solutions to get the job done, and I suspect they will find this way far more elegant and easy to manage and maintain. So, Generation 1 of consumer-level VR backpacks is looking very interesting. It's going to be fascinating to see where we go from here. So do let me know what you think about the MSI VR1 backpack, or backpack VR gaming in general, in my lovely, lovely, warm, comforting, relaxing, down below area, as usual. Ran out of adjectives there. Thanks for watching, I am Blunty, and I will catch you next time.